Uh, I don't know what has me thinking about this today, but I was just remembering back when I first got a car. Yeah, I did. It would have been back in the early '60s, early to mid '60s. I would say maybe around '64, '63, maybe. Um, I know back in those days, and I imagine it's not much different nowadays because it was a good idea. You couldn't just go get a license. Number one, you had to be a certain age, of course, but I think there was something where, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think it was at age 16 or it might have been 17, you could get a learner's permit, right? Am I right on this? Boy, it was a long time ago. Let me think, how long ago? Oh my God. Yeah, it was 60 years ago for crying out loud, something like that for me. In any case, it was a long time ago. They'd just gotten, the nation was going from stagecoaches to gasoline powered, vehicles. Um, the or horses. I wonder if you had to get a horse's permit back in the 1880s. Huh? Yeah. Where's your horse's permit? Supposed to be riding side saddle till you get your license. No. Well, in any case, so back in the day, and I imagine it's still the same thing. I would guess. In Jersey, anyway, you had to get a learner's permit, and that meant that you could drive so long as a licensed driver, I think, over the age of 21, was riding with you. And I think that was the case. Meaning, in my case, and almost every other kid I know's case, that would be your dad, and it made for some interesting trips. That's for sure. My father, I remember, of course, he was a fighter pilot, and he believed in learning how to control and operate your vehicle, be it a vehicle that flew, a vehicle that was out on the water, or on the road. And many a day he'd come home from work, and he drove all over the place, as a salesman, calling on factories and stuff. And he'd come in, he'd rest a little bit, maybe have a beer, and then he'd say, "Come on, let's go for a ride. You got your permit?" I said, "Yeah, right here." He says, "Okay, let's go." And I'd go sit in the passenger side and say, "What are you doing sitting in the passenger side? You're driving." "I am." "Yeah, get behind the wheel." "Okay." And he's sitting there in the passenger side. And I gotta say, I'm as a teenager, I always had tiffs with my father and mom. Yeah, I guess we all did. But eventually we grew out of all that stuff. But still, when you're a teenager, you're a teenager. You're nuts. Yeah. And I remember him saying, "Okay, take it out for a spin." And I'd start it up. He says, "Did you check all your signals and all that? Everything? What kind of gas do you got in that? You okay? You got enough gas?" I said, "Yeah, it's three-quarters tank." He said, "That's plenty." And he says, "Just let it warm up a little more, and out we go." And he'd say, "Okay, make a right up here." "Huh? Why didn't you signal?" "Huh? I suppose." "Yeah," he said, "you're supposed to signal." "Okay, yeah." So after that, I'd learn to signal as we'd approach another turn. He'd say, "To the left now, signal." "Okay, remember you can't cut anyone off." "Okay, no, sir." And like back and forth. And it was kind of, I gotta say, it was pretty cool. I know one time we had mom went out to visit relatives out in Western Pennsylvania, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And my father still had to work. Mom, I think, took a train. I think she took a train, or she may have rode out with relatives who were visiting us and lived out near Newcastle. In any case, mom wasn't around. And so it was just my father, my brother, and me heading out to go pick mom up and visit for a few days with the in-laws out there. And and again, we lived in North Jersey, Chester, New Jersey. Newcastle was north of Pittsburgh. My father, I can still hear him. He said, "Okay," he says, "you've been driving pretty good lately." He said, "I tell you what, you're taking us out to Newcastle." I I said, "But we'll be traveling through the night and everything." "Yeah, yeah." He says, "Well, you want to just travel during the day?" He says, "No, you're going to drive at night. You're getting out on the turnpike too, the Pennsylvania Turnpike." The Pennsylvania Turnpike? Oh my. He says, "Well, come on, you can do it." And I said, "Well, all right." And again, this is a guy who flew a 400-mile-per-hour airplane, propeller plane at that. And he said he could care less about a car doing 60. Now look, he says, when I'm going to take a nap, if you see the cops, holler and wake me up. Okay, you're fine. You don't just keep driving. And he said, I'm conking out. And so next you know, he's sound asleep. That or he's pretending to be asleep. I don't know which. Okay, to this day, I don't know. I'll have to meet him in heaven someday, and we'll go over the road trip. And he says, "You know the way, right?" I said, "Yeah, Route 22 uh, into near Harrisburg, right?" He said, "Yeah, Route 22. You're going to wind up in Harrisburg. Then you go south on," and they named some road. And he says, "Then it's not too far. You get on the turnpike. Which direction you go on the turnpike?" "West." "West. That much I know." "Okay, westbound lane. You got money for tolls? Here's some money. And watch it in the tunnels. Remember, you can't pass anyone in the darn tunnels." Yeah, okay, all right. I, darned if I didn't get there. Yeah. Oh, man, I was holding that wheel. Just tractor trailers passing me. I know one time he woke up, said he had to hit the can, so we had to pull into Howard Johnson's, and frankly, I had to go too. And he got me a cup of coffee. Says, "There you go. This will put hair on your chest." I said, "Okay." And he says, "What time is it?" I said, "It's 2 a.m. "Ah, you made pretty good time, but you can go faster than that. If you're here at this point at 2, and we left at 7 or 8, he said, you're going too slow. Knock it up about another 10 miles an hour." "We'll be doing 70. "Yeah, yeah. What's everyone else doing? Are they all passing you?" "Yeah, like about out of," yeah. He says, "Well, you got to get up with the crowd. You're causing traffic jams. People could get killed. Up that speed right now." Oh my God! Now oh, it was, but after that I felt pretty confident, thinking that, gee, I made it all the way. I made it on something like 200 miles worth of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, Route 22, Harrisburg traffic. I didn't do too bad for myself. And he let me drive home a little bit, but mom was getting kind of nervous. Yeah. Eventually he had to take over and mom could relax a bit more. But all in all, I got to hand it. That old guy, he was okay. My father was really pretty cool people. I should be so cool. I'm telling you. No, he was a good guy. And I could, I wish I had, well, I couldn't have known him. I wasn't around yet, but it would have been fun to see him taking off in those planes and stuff. I bet that had to be cool. And the way things were back then, he might have been able to sneak me in for a ride. I think before he met mom, he says sometimes if you had a few extra bucks, you could you could tip the sentry and take the darn plane up with your girlfriend. Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know. Jeez. I don't know if he did it, but he said other guys did, which I imagine means he did too. Well, it was before he met mom. What are you going to do, right? But oh my heavens. Yeah, he was quite the guy. never shirked a chance to improve himself. That was pretty cool guy. Anyway, I don't know what got me into that, but I just thought I'd pass that all on to you. We'll catch you later, friends. God bless. And I hope your dad's every bit as good as mine was. Okay. I'll see you later. Bye now.